This is my most recent character design, and now I'm here to show you how I made her from scratch. In this video, I'll share with you a method to come up with cool ideas for characters, how to develop those ideas, and how to make them personal to you. So welcome! My name is Long, and I'm a young artist sharing my journey and everything I learned on the way. So, how do I come up with a cool character idea? Normally, you would draw inspiration from a story you're working in, but since I don't have one, we're gonna have to improvise and make something new. A well-known method for original ideas is combining two things: some food and an occupation, an animal and an element, a plant and a machine. Pick whatever sounds fun to you. I chose an electric harpy for no reason in particular. For my references, I knew I was going to need a bird and some clothes. Since I wanted to try a black and yellow theme, I thought some punk references would be really nice. With all that said, it's time to move on to the actual drawing part. I like to keep my drawings simple and quick at this stage of the process. Most of the time you'll have to create multiple different versions of the same character before you find something you like. So it's important to detach and move on quickly from what doesn't work. I personally think it's better to save most of your energy for experimentation, even if that often means sacrificing on some details and logic. So what's most important now, it's that you try every what if that comes to mind. You can transform, liquefy, duplicate, and paint over as much as you want on this stage. It's okay to be messy. You can see I was running with the electric harpy theme. I think it was a fine starting point, but she just wasn't matching my vision. Then I realized I really liked her face. I usually make kinder looking characters, but this was a great chance to draw inspiration from the rebellious nature of electricity. The punk aspect of her was more interesting to me than her harpy side, so we're leaning on that a bit more from now on. This is the time where I start setting some constraints on my designs. Limitations make characters a lot more interesting. This happens naturally when you're working with a story, but it happened a bit later here since we're doing things in reverse. In this case, my goals for the next version of our character were to add some oversized clothes, make her more human, and make her less Zapdos. So now that I had a base that I liked and a few goals, I decided to keep trying what ifs. I made a simplified version of my character's body and started adding clothes. My first attempt looks like bootleg Bowsette. I thought she looked a little empty, so I added that yellow coat that didn't look that great. Then I tried making the hair longer on the second attempt. I think it adds a lot to her silhouette. Even if I wasn't 100% sure about everything I was doing, this was the moment where I knew I was onto something. Once again, I tried to add a jacket, but this time it was smaller and didn't bulk her up too much. Here's how the second version of the character looks like. She looks like a punk idol, so I knew what kind of accessories and details to add next. However, I had a problem. She was looking punk, but not very electric. So I painted one of her strands with a bright blue color. Blue is often associated with electricity as well, and this might be a stretch, but I thought about how there's different colored cables when working with batteries, so she might be able to charge something with her hair. But anyways, I did kinda miss the spiky silhouette from the first try, so I added a cape that's connected to this yellow thing. She was starting to come together pretty nicely. Now that I've shown you how I come up with ideas and how I develop them, I'll show you how to make them unique to you. Everyone wants a recognizable art style, but how do you find what makes your art special? I'd say it's a mix between your natural tendencies, meaning what you like to do and are naturally best at, and things you admire from other artists. I've heard the concept of an art style being described as the result of your education. So try to understand what you liked about the art you enjoy the most. Do they use colored lines? Are they doing saturated or muted shadows? What kind of compositions do they usually use? It's a lot to take in, especially when referencing from multiple artists. So just take it slow and have fun. Try things and draw inspiration from your favorite artists, movies, and games. I, for example, love experimenting with shapes and using vibrant color palettes. But something I'm personally struggling with and I'm trying to fix is giving my characters more personality. So I know the next few steps in my art journey should look something like lots of gesture drawing and facial expressions. As long as you keep observing, experimenting, and find the direction you want to take your art in, you should be on the right path to develop your art style. But coming back to our design, I think she's looking really good. The only problem is that she looks a little bit soulless right now. You can't really tell much about her while she's doing the T-pose. So I'm making a character sheet for her. You can make it as comprehensive as you like. But my intentions here are to showcase a little bit of her personality. The best way to do this is giving your character something to do. She's a punk idol, so for the character sheet I want to draw her holding a mic, maybe singing, and a close-up of her face. I also decided to include her color palette and her battery charging side hustle. I'm happy with how this looks. And that's basically it. I come up with ideas by combining things, start adding constraints later, and try to lean on the things that make my art special to me. Thank you so much if you made it this far into the video. I really appreciate you. I recently made this video where I break down the Genshin art style and try to recreate it. So please check it out if you're interested. I also have this Blue Sky account where I really should start posting more. So follow me on that too if you'd like. Anyways, thank you so much for everything. Bye.